It feels like our YouTube recommendations lately are full of culture shock videos from Americans that have just moved to the Netherlands.
When we moved to the Netherlands about 3.5 years ago, we made those videos too. And when we went back and watched one of them,
Squeaker?
oh,
Sugar.
Squeaker. Yeah, it's pretty embarrassing.
So we're about to rewatch all of our old culture shock videos, and in addition to having a good laugh, we're going to see what we got right, what we misunderstood, and how our views might have changed since then.
Okay, I know some of you are probably wondering, so let's just get this out of the way. Ja, ik spreek Nederlands. Ik maak heel veel foutjes. Ik heb een sterk accent. Wij zijn nog steeds aan het leren. Als je in Nederland woont, vind ik het heel belangrijk om Nederlands te leren.
We're starting with What Shocked Us About Living in the Netherlands, published on September 6, 2022, so just a little over 2 months after moving to the Netherlands.
That doesn't really seem like it's long enough to really experience a culture shock.
It wasn't.
Oh, and by the way, our channel is all about exploring the places and the food of the Netherlands and Belgium, so please take a minute to hit that subscribe button.
Here's one thing that I kind of knew, but was still really surprising. Taxes included in all the prices. Like, the price of the item is actually the price you pay. And that's not at all how it works in the United States. So taxes apply to the purchase price, and it's a percentage of the total depending on the state that you live in. So it's anywhere between like 7 and 10%. And don't even get me started on tipping. Here in the Netherlands, when you're buying something online, for example, it's going to break out the taxes separately. So originally, when I saw that line with what they call it, this VAT here, I thought that that line was actually going to be reapplied to the total, and I kind of freaked out at how expensive I thought everything was going to be. But it's not at all. They just spell it out for you. It's dead simple, and I don't know why they don't do this in the US.
I think that's a pretty common one. The price you see is the price you pay.
Yeah, it is still nice today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here's another one that we kind of knew before, but it was still really difficult to adjust to. Eggs aren't refrigerated here. It's really weird to see them in the grocery store on the shelf next to the cake mix. And it's really hard not to put them in the fridge after you're done using them.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like you're doing something wrong. The shelf life's only about 2 weeks here, and whereas in the US, it's typically a month or more. But when you shop for eggs in the grocery store, it's way more common to see them in 6-packs rather than by the dozen.
So in the comments of this video, there was a lot of contention on like where the eggs go when you bring them home. People were like, no, I still refrigerate my eggs here.
And people were like, don't ever refrigerate your eggs.
It was a pretty like, it was
contentious.
Yes, it was contentious.
Yeah, we don't refrigerate our eggs, and it's great when I'm baking and there's a recipe that calls for eggs at room temperature because
they're already room temperature.
It's great.
First words on TV. We don't normally have cable TV, and the temporary apartment that we were staying at when we got here, we did. So we fell into the habit of watching a lot of TV shows that we used to watch back when we had cable TV in the US, but nothing was bleeped. And it took us a while to notice because when nothing's bleeped, it actually sounds super normal. I'd actually argue that adding the beep draws more attention to the fact that the person is cursing. And honestly, the lack of bleeping made a lot of these conversations sound more authentic since it's how the person's normally speaking.
They said oh my gosh. I remember that skit.
See, that's funny. That's something I would do today.
Yeah.
Because when you do add the beep, it does make it more...
It sounds more jarring.
It's more jarring.
Yeah, yeah. This is actually...
We're funny.
We've always been funny, though.
I don't think I've had to pay with my physical debit or credit card anywhere since moving here. Every place uses Apple Pay, and it actually works, like every single time, unlike in the United States.
You just did the rest in peace thing.
I know.
I've actually stopped carrying my wallet
It's
completely.
Still very much alive.
And one of the things we heard a lot about before coming here was that a lot of places don't accept credit cards at all. They just take cash. We haven't really run into that yet. We have run into situations where places only take debit cards and they don't accept credit cards. Credit cards here do seem to be fairly rare, not just for small purchases, but even for larger purchases. But at least we found most places accept them anyway.
Yeah.
The only time I've ever had to use my physical credit card, I think, was at when I rented a car from Avis.
Yes.
But like, I'm not sure I needed to.
Yeah.
It just seemed like that was the thing to do.
Is that a European thing though? Or is that more like common in the United States now?
I don't know. It may have just been a thing that happened while we lived here. But I mean, it's nice not having to carry around cards.
My next one is generally just like the grocery store shopping experience here. I was so surprised to see the sheer amount of shapes and sizes of I alternate between my notes and refrigerated potatoes. Every single store has at least 20 different options, and the same goes for pre-cut and pre-mixed vegetables. So So like if you're making a stir fry and you need to add vegetables to the mix, you just grab a bag from the refrigerated section and you're good to go.
The stir fry bag.
Yes, the stir fry bag. Another thing,
Yeah, but they've got varieties for every opportunity, every situation.
Vegetarian and vegan like meat replacement options, and the fact that most of them are store brand. This is almost unheard of in your average grocery store in the United States. And the prices for all of these here in the Netherlands are fairly reasonable, considering we would pay upwards of like $8 for just a couple of frozen black bean patties in the United States.
Yeah, the vegetarian options here are abundant and inexpensive.
And good.
And really tasty. I think like even if we didn't eat vegetarian at home, I would probably still choose to get them a lot of the times.
This one's specifically about the working habits here in the Netherlands. When we started our move, we were working with several people here, and after 5 p.m. local time, nothing. The Dutch just don't really work after 5.
Oh, that was a pretty good.
Wow.
See, this wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
And this is obviously in
We should
stark
get back in
contrast to the
this
United
kid.
States, where if someone needs something from you, even if it's only mildly urgent, you're kind of expected to respond to them after 5 o'clock. Also, in the US, when you receive an email and you don't have the answer, it's customary to respond back and just say, I don't know, but I'll get back to you in a day or 2. Here, you basically just get radio silence until they have an answer. And as you can imagine, that's pretty stressful when you're in the midst of a big move and you're trying to figure out stuff about the immigration process or you're trying to figure out where you're gonna live. The flip side of this is that everyone here seems to be extremely reliable, and we've yet to have someone forget to follow up when we ask them a question. And honestly, this is one of those Dutch habits that I'll probably adopt first.
Yeah.
I don't think I've adopted it.
No,
But
me
I have
neither.
to say, it's been 3.5 years, and I don't think I've ever had an experience with someone dropping the ball.
This is honestly one of the most shocking
Oh,
things
here we
since
go.
moving here for us. It's a bit of a negative. It's actually pretty negative.
Yeah.
Soda here that's not labeled as diet or zero or sugar-free
Ugh.
usually still has artificial sweetener in it.
Not just
It seems
just
to
soda.
actually be very common.
Not just
And
soda.
This is a pretty rude awakening for us when we went to the store to get a Fanta or something, and we were drinking it, and we're like, something's just a little off about this Fanta.
Has it turned?
And we took a look at the back and at the ingredient list, and bam, sweeker,
Oh,
sugar,
sweeter.
and sucralose, both.
The thing that drives me nuts is when you get a regular something, a soda, a sauce, a salad dressing,
Flavored chips.
chips. Yep.
Yes.
There's no warning at all whatsoever, and there's no they're not branded as reduced sugar or
Like
zero
diet
sugar.
or anything like
They
that.
just have either a mix of sugar, suiker, and sucralose or some other artificial sweetener, or they only have an artificial sugar in it. We don't drink that much soda, so boo-hoo about the soda. But
Yeah.
like the fry sauces or the salad dressings, the things you don't expect.
Yeah,
to be in,
those are the things that are like really sad to me.
it's part of an effort to reduce sugar in food, but and that's great. That's great.
Mhm.
But like at the same time, like there's got to be a better way.
Yeah, there has to
There's
be.
got to be a better way.
It's going to be interesting to see how this list evolves over time, the longer that we're here. I'm sure there's a lot more to discover here in the Netherlands and also as we start to travel more around Europe.
Oh my gosh. This video is just like a little cringy because it was like our 1st video.
I think this is the first. No, I think it's like the second video we ever actually filmed.
Yeah, so we're super awkward in this, but I'm actually surprised that how I feel the same about like a decent number of these things.
Yeah.
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 And we've learned how to pronounce suiker. Let's move on to Why We Love the Netherlands, which was released on February 7th, 2023. And while it doesn't have culture shock in the title, it felt like it was appropriate to lump it into that category.
I can't wait to find out why we love the Netherlands.
Yeah.
All right, we've been in the Netherlands now for about 6 months, and it really feels like we're starting to settle in. So we wanted to make
I'm
this
wearing the
video
same
and share
shirt as the
all the
last
things that
video.
we love.
I'm talking
faster. About our time so far here in the Netherlands. How many of your things are just bread? Yeah.
There's definitely one that's bread related.
No,
but-
there's 2 that are bread related. I've seen the list.
What? Really?
It's even more
I
bread
think, like,
related.
It is
Honestly,
true.
Like as
I'll
time
just make
progresses,
a
it's
top
more and
8
more
about
bread related.
on its own because bread in the US sucks. There you go.
Nope, still do that. I still do that.
I don't do that.
One thing we love about living in the Netherlands is that we can ride the train basically anywhere, and not just local trains, but international trains too. It really blows our mind how easy these trains are to navigate
talking
and how
about this.
convenient it is. It's just really easy to travel here. The trains run pretty frequently, so you don't necessarily need to look at a schedule, at least here in Rotterdam, but the NS app makes it simple no matter what.
Choo-choo.
We still love trains.
I think that's my favorite.
The
part.
choo-choo?
Oh, the
Is
choo-choo.
the choo-choo.
The choo-choo.
From Zelda.
Yeah.
Still love the trains. I have my driver's license now. I don't have a car. I don't intend on getting a car. Last year, there were like the most disruptions like on record or something with NS, but still love the trains. And I was just talking the other day about how I cannot believe that you can take a train from Rotterdam to London. Like that still blows
It's so
my mind.
impressive.
We love the bread and cheese culture here in the Netherlands.
We do love the bread and
quality
cheese culture here.
selection at our local grocery store is just like
Oof.
leaps and bounds above what we're used to in the States. And
That is
you
it's
can
true.
go and buy like a half loaf of bread for around €1. And
Half a loaf or have a loaf?
half a
yes.
loaf.
Half a pound. Or did you say have a pound?
Half a loaf is around €1.
Love
and
that.
it tastes
Funnier
great
back
and
then?
isn't full of like a
No,
ton
I-
of sugar
no.
like the bread was in the United States. Also, Tiger Brot is our go-to. Sometimes we'll just slice up some cheese, put it on the bread, eat it for breakfast or lunch.
Whoa. Innovative.
That is
Or-
not.
No, even sometimes
That-
we'll get a
we
little
don't do that
wild and
anymore.
make toasties.
Something more wild than a toasty.
Now, we know some of you have told us not to buy the sliced cheese in the grocery store and that there are better cheeses out there. And we really, really do believe you. But we're just like so impressed with the selection of Dutch and Belgian cheeses in the grocery store.
It's belege is what I was
She thought that meant
misinterpreting
Belgian.
as Belgian cheese. So
Yep.
we've learned since then that is not Belgian cheese.
Yep. It is an aging of cheese.
Yeah. We never buy bread at the grocery store anymore.
No, we always buy
Never.
it from a bakery, and we really love Bakar Salmon and Dordrecht. I know we mentioned in a lot of our videos, but I mean, they've got very affordable, very high quality sourdough bread.
It's delicious.
It's delicious.
The cheese from the market or from a cheese shop is a million times better than what you buy in the grocery store. We do
It's quality and variety.
yes, the variety is crazy. Also, I do buy cheese from the grocery store sometimes when I'm being a little lazy, but you should always buy it from the market or a cheese shop.
I was like, we don't really buy cheese from the grocery store that often anymore. And she was like, no, I'm going to say it. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Honesty is important.
I think it's important to talk about how we've grown and how we haven't.
Uh-huh.
But
When was the last time we bought Tiger Brot?
Another thing we really love about living in the Netherlands is the food quality. First, just generally, food from the grocery store is a lot better, from the baked items to the produce. The vegetables are fresher, the fruit is sweeter. Like, you can buy a whole bunch of grapes from a grocery store in the States, and you've got like a 50% chance of them actually being delicious.
Grapes are a
and
great
sweet.
example. The grapes
And
here are
I think it's about,
fucking
like, 90%.
gigantic.
they've been like
A lot more
this
the fruit.
big.
I have
lately.
never seen grapes as big
Not
as
that it's a bad
their-
thing, it's just weird.
the grocery
We've
store
seen
grapes here.
examples
They're
of
so
this
good.
from the apple tart that we ate in our 6-month
Oh,
update
sashimi.
video, where you can tell both of us were extremely surprised by the quality of our Jumbo brand apple tart.
It was only €5.
It was really good.
House brand stuff here is good.
Speaking
Yeah.
of, it seems like store brand items are more common here, and they actually taste really
is that
good,
where you-
from like the pindakas to the pasta. And here, I never ever think twice about buying the store brand.
still looking at
and from the
yourself.
States,
I am.
would generally avoid.
I'm looking
it
at
because
myself
most
right
of the
now, too.
products tasted pretty bad.
Yeah, they were cheap.
I hardly ever hesitate to buy store brand products here in the Netherlands. There are a few things that I found that like aren't quite as good as name brand, but still like you really can't go wrong most of the time.
Here's one thing that's probably a bit unexpected based on the things we heard about Dutch people prior to moving to the Netherlands. But one of our favorite things is the people. The Dutch definitely have a reputation of being a bit direct and maybe sometimes a little cold, but we've actually appreciated the directness and the lack of like fake politeness. In the States, sometimes it would really be a challenge to tell if someone was being genuine to you or not. Like if, you're interacting with someone and they ask how you were, I guess probably about 90% of the time when you said how you were, they didn't actually give a shit.
Whoa.
So here it feels like if someone greets you and asks how you're doing, they are actually genuinely curious to hear the answer.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, Dutch directness is almost certainly a thing. I don't feel like it has been like a true shocking experience for
No.
me.
I'm like wondering what we were talking about in this too.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of really good relationships with the shop owners or like Metaverkers here in Dordrecht.
Yeah.
We do have a lot of like we do small talk with
Mhm.
the guy who runs the coffee shop here. with
Yeah. Or
Food
food
Nerd.
nerd.
Between that and then also just I think I've always been a direct person.
It's true.
I think it's just one of the traits about me is I don't sugarcoat or beat around the bush.
Yeah.
So I mean maybe it's just like I'm with my people.
Yeah.
You know?
You might be finally.
And I've just never
you found
really-
your spot.
Yeah.
And finally, the thing we love the most about living in the Netherlands,
At least for the purposes of ranking things for a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Look at you.
a much better sense of safety than we had in the United States. Generally, we feel a lot safer in all aspects of our lives. For example, crossing the street. And when you compare the number of pedestrian fatalities in the Netherlands and let's say, I don't know, the state of Texas, in 2021, the Netherlands had 43 and Texas had 815.
That was a long pause.
Even if you roughly double it to adjust for population,
We're
that is
literally
still
the same
a massive
person.
difference. Also, on a personal note, I generally feel a lot more comfortable walking places alone and taking public transit after dark. And while I'm still really careful and vigilant doing these things, I don't think I really would have considered or attempted most of those things living in the United States.
I still feel pretty safe on the train, in the evening hours, at night, walking around by
Walking
myself.
to the train station at 4 a.m. to film a video at the Fabo
I
factory.
feel like that's the only time also that we've ever been like truly alone on the streets. I think part of the sense of safety does come from the fact that where we are, at least, there are always a lot of people around too. And now, Unexpected Things About the Netherlands, published on September 18th, 2023, which was about a year and 3 months after we had moved to the Netherlands.
So I remember when we did this video originally, we were like, is this a culture shock video? And then we were like, are these things actually that shocking or are they just unexpected? So I took a little bit of a risk and I changed the title to Unexpected Things About the Netherlands. Netherlands?
No one really wears a helmet when cycling. With how common cycling is here in the Netherlands, you might be surprised to know that most people here don't wear helmets. But there's a good reason for that. The Dutch have built pretty incredible infrastructure that exists just to protect cyclists when they're biking, as opposed to when cyclists aren't biking. I don't know. Children are taught at a young age how to ride bikes and follow the rules of the road. 27% of all trips in the Netherlands are made by bikes, so this means that people who are in a car will almost always have to share the road with a cyclist on their journey.
As someone who can
And
drive
this
now.
creates an awareness
Yes.
and willingness to share the road that's pretty much unmatched in any other country.
Oh boy, I would get in so much trouble riding my bike without a helmet when I was a kid.
Yeah, when you're a kid in the US, you're basically told that anytime you're on the bike, you have to wear a helmet. But here in the Netherlands, the only people that wear helmets are tourists.
Yep.
And it's a good way to find out.
Well,
who's a
that's not
tourist
true
when you're
anymore.
in a
Yeah,
bike
that's
lane.
not entirely true.
The police and handhaving
Yeah.
are wearing helmets these days.
Yep, I've seen them wearing helmets. And also, I've seen a lot more older folks wearing helmets, especially if they're on e-bikes. And then also
I haven't.
very small babies,
Uh,
like when they're attached to the front of the bike wearing
you
helmets.
can tell we don't have kids.
There are urinals for you to pee
Oh my
in,
God, I love this.
Mhm.
but they're outside. Now, public restrooms aren't super common anywhere in the world. At best, you may run into a restroom on a street that you can use for a nominal fee. But you will find
got those
these
too.
urinals
Yep.
scattered around the Netherlands, especially when there's some sort of an event. And here's a
me
strange bit
peeing.
about them. There's not really any
Is this your first
privacy
time?
outside of these pee curls that
Yes.
you might find in Amsterdam. There's just a spot
got
to
it on
pee in,
camera.
right in the middle of the
You
square
got it on
with no
camera.
walls or anything. But people do use them, so much so that pretty much everywhere that we've gone to in the Netherlands has been free of that pee smell that you'll find so
It's true.
frequently when you're visiting a
So
big city.
surprising. It's so surprising that it doesn't smell like pee anywhere in the Netherlands.
Yep. I mean, the thing that gets me is I wish they had a female version of this. The Dutch built an island. They can figure out how to make a female urinal.
They
this
did!
is so relevant because I saw this, like a
Den
week and a
Bosch,
half
yeah.
ago in Den Bosch. They had the female urinal. It was
I
like
was
a-
like, you need to go use that. And she's like, I don't have to pee. And I'm like, I don't care. You need to go use
I need
it.
to
This
go
is the
experience
moment.
it. And I totally regret it now, but like it was great. It was like this bright pink thing and it had a little curl. And I assume you walked around and then you like sat down and you peed. I really wish that I hadn't just peed or I had just gone there to experience it. But we did see one. And I know some people here suggested the like pee funnel thing
Yeah.
too.
What are you
but
going to do after that? You put it back in your like bag? You
Yeah,
put it in like a
there's-
Ziploc bag, your pee's on it.
there's no place to wash it off or anything. But I do think that female urinal is the future.
Dutch people seem to really love licorice. The Dutch love licorice of
Yep.
all kinds.
Dutch people
Minty,
love
honey, and even
drop.
salty
Yeah.
varieties.
This isn't just a special occasion thing that you might only find at a candy store. If you go into any grocery store in the Netherlands, you'll find one half of an aisle devoted to it. And the average
biggest
Dutch
section in the
person
grocery store, I
consumes
think.
around 4 pounds of licorice every year. So why is it so
Pounds?
popular? The short answer is
I
it's
said
an
in
acquired
pounds.
taste that many people have from a very young age. Also, it's said to have a soothing effect on the throat and sinuses, so
Yeah,
many
they have
people
them. They
will
sell them
carry
at
it
the
with
pharmacy.
them
Oh,
to get
okay.
them
There you
through
go.
those really
Look, I
cold
said that there too.
winters. And the licorice here is very different than the varieties you might find in the United States. It's less
Like it's
sticky
actually
and
licorice.
sweet
Yeah.
and meant to be enjoyed more slowly.
Yeah, I would say we've tried Drop a lot. Obviously,
yeah, we have many videos where we try it.
Yeah, for a lot of videos and things like that. I can't say that it is something that we purchase when it's not for a video. I don't think we actually
You like the duos.
congratulating everyone on your birthday.
Oh,
No.
If you find yourself going to a birthday party in the Netherlands, be prepared for everyone to congratulate you. You'll likely hear people say gefeliciteerd, which means congratulations in Dutch. And it's not because you did
Your
something
birthday.
amazing, but because
my
you
fake
know the
birthday.
birthday boy or girl. Instead of wishing the person who is celebrating happy birthday,
so
it's a
she-
Dutch custom to congratulate them and everyone else who is at their party. But that doesn't just extend to those at the party. Are you their girlfriend,
so shoot.
their neighbor, their parent? Even the colleagues of your mother might congratulate her, even if they don't know you, just because they know it's your birthday.
I think it's so silly that we included this because, like,
we've never been to a Dutch birthday, and we still have never been to a Dutch birthday.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Why did we put that on this list at all?
I think we felt like we had to.
But I do think that this would be a fun video idea in the future.
Yes. If any of you are having a traditional Dutch birthday, perhaps one where everyone sits in a circle,
Mhm.
invite your old pals Uncharted. We'd love to go and see what types of foods you got and what the experience is like, and if it's like it was as we presented it without any experience with them and the unexpected things about the Netherlands video from 2 years ago.
And even if you don't have a birthday coming up, let us know some of your favorite and maybe least favorite traditions and foods in the comments below.
For birthdays.
Yes.
Yes.
Not just in general,
Yeah.
for birthdays.
Thanks.
Be aware that you might find an environmentally friendly towel dispenser in a public
Oh,
restroom.
God.
In our travels, we've seen many different ways of drying your hands after you wash them. Maybe it's a disposable paper towel, maybe it's an air dryer, or nothing at all, and you bring your own hand towel with you. But this one is definitely the strangest. Let me try to describe it. At first glance, it looks like a disposable towel dispenser, but the
It took
towel
me so
doesn't
long to
detach
find
from the
this
roll.
TikTok.
Instead, you pull the towel down, wipe your hands, and then it'll retract the used portion of the towel back up. And when the next person comes along, they pull on the towel, and it's ideally a dry, fresh part of the roll for them. In our experiences, it's typically still wet from another person's hands. Maybe we're using
It was just
them
this
wall.
one place where it was
But they're better for
broken.
the
Yeah.
They were all
environment since there's no
broken.
paper waste, so we really can't complain.
Yeah, I mean, I've experienced it a few times since then. It's weird.
It's a little awkward.
I might say it's unexpected.
Oh, so it
But-
is on this list.
Yeah, I mean, I
deservedly.
think the reason we put this on is because I was like so surprised that it was the ones that we'd interacted with previously weren't working. But once I started experiencing ones that did work,
Mhm.
it wasn't really quite as
No.
It's more unexpected than shocking.
That is true.
There's horse meat for sale at butchers and at restaurants. Horse meat is commonly sold at butchers in the form of paardenworst, which is a smoked horse meat sausage, or you can find it at a restaurant in surfvlees or stoofvlees, which is a horse meat stew.
Vlees.
And you can even put that on top of your fries in some
Boy.
places.
As
Hey,
Dutch
it's
lessons.
Alex from 2 Days
Dutch
in the
lessons.
Future.
Chicken.
Just wanted
Oh,
to
hey,
note
no, I
that
didn't.
I'm rewatching this video now, and I realized that I'm mispronouncing stoofvlees and surfvlees.
Yeah.
Just a good
Whoops.
reminder for folks to make sure you're taking Dutch language lessons as soon as you move to the Netherlands.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're going to pick up some bad habits that are hard to shake. Anyway, back to the video.
So true.
Still do
Now,
it.
it does seem like
Not
it's a
that
lot less common
specifically,
than
but
it
I
used
still
to
do
be
that,
because
yeah.
when we'll hear about a restaurant or a butcher shop that still has this, it's commonly called traditional, or it's one of the few restaurants that still serves it this way. We've been able to try a few versions of it. There's a local butcher here in Dordrecht who sells paardenworst. We tried surfvlees
Rest
in
in peace.
Maastricht,
Yeah.
It's really
They're
good.
gone too.
It tastes like tender pot roast.
and we had the stoofvlees on our fries at the Wendy's in Goes.
Holy moly.
It's always really good. But in the US and many countries, horse meat can be used to refer to cheap meat. And in 2013, they found horse meat mixed into meat labeled as spicy beef in the UK, which upset a lot of
Just as a
Brits and
horse.
led to this very humorous
Poor
meme.
horse.
I love that meme so much. So, like, there's a vendor at our market indoor direct that's out there every weekend selling pardon
I think he's just there in the fall and winter,
And in Belgium, you can find like pardon
Mhm.
steaks when you're at restaurants.
which are really good.
I think it is falling out of favor. So it's very rare,
Mhm.
but it does exist. It is weird, but if you do get it, it does taste pretty good.
Mhm. And now, more shocking things about living in the Netherlands. Wow. Okay. This video is published on February 21st, 2023, which was about 7 months after we moved to the Netherlands, which I think was actually like the appropriate time to make our very first culture shock
Mhm.
video. But anyway,
Yeah, and that's earlier than the video we just watched.
they're a little out
just
of
if you're
order.
tracking.
Yeah.
Open curtains. This is one that is a huge deviation from what we're used to in the States, where people tend to be like very private and they have like multiple layers of window coverings in the States. Like they'll have blinds and they'll have curtains and all
Still
of
looking at
these
yourself.
different things. So
That's not to say that they don't have those in Dutch homes.
yeah, that is true. But like in the States, they keep all of them closed.
Yes.
Like every layer is
Right.
closed all the time. Is that rude?
Everyone's
to
house
stare
here is
at?
just so stylish that I can't help but look and be like, oh my gosh, home goals.
I
you
know. I'm looking in there and I'm like, oh, we need to get that. Where did
Yeah.
they get that from? And it's just like, it's like one big like West Elm catalog.
Still do this all the time when we're walking around.
There are TV shows dedicated to showing off the interior of people's homes. Of course, you're gonna look.
Yeah. And also now
They're
that we,
begging for you to look in their apartment, like it's like or their house. It's like
they're just tempting.
they're just
you.
tempting you. I mean, it's like I don't even have to pay for it.
I know.
It's literally for free. You just walk around. I know this comes up in every video, and I would not say it's shocking,
no.
but I do appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I still
Thank
do
you for
it.
letting us look into your living rooms
And
or kitchens.
70% of the time, there's a cat in the window too.
That is also
which
a nice
is
perk.
a nice little treat.
Yeah.
Transit strikes. These things happen a lot more than we expected. But I think that's
God, this
mainly
is
due
crazy.
to the different types.
Yeah, there are a
of
lot of different modes of
transit.
transportation. There are a lot of different companies that are involved.
I think the frustrating part about these is there often isn't a ton of notice. Sometimes you'll get just like a few days or maybe up to a week. And you can try to plan around them, but it does tend to be pretty frustrating and has some like cascading effects around it. However, I do think that these strikes tend to produce results, meaning workers are really able to negotiate better wages and working conditions, which is all really good. Like, for example, that strike that happened earlier on when we moved here back in September, it was an NS strike, and they were actually able to come to an agreement with workers that included a raise and bonuses along with addressing the future inflation.
Yeah, so I think the gist of this is the culture shock thing isn't necessarily, wow, strikes are a pain in the ass. I think they're actually a good thing. I think the shocking
They're
thing
a
is
pain
that
in the
they
ass
happen a lot more
for on
frequently, and
purpose.
they're
Yeah.
actually like
That's
something
what the
that
intention is.
point.
That's the point. Yeah, I mean, we're still pro-strike.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, we're
Well,
not
we still
pro-strike.
support striking
We still
workers.
support striking workers.
Yeah.
But it's funny, if we did this video 6 months ago, I would have been like, oh, it just happened that one time. But we did see more transit strikes in the last half of last year.
Yeah.
I think it was 3 days. It was regional, but 2 of the days, I think, actually just the cascading effect was that they just stopped train service across the whole country.
Mhm.
And it is inconvenient. There are more in Belgium.
Yeah, there are actually like quite a few in Belgium.
But again, if that's what it takes to, make sure that you're being
Paid
compensated
fairly.
appropriately or treated fairly, then keep going on with your striking selves. It's just
That first year
that
was
first year
really
was crazy.
tough,
We thought
like-
that was like the norm, but it's
Mhm.
only happened twice since we lived here then, and then for a much briefer amount of time.
Yeah, I
last
would
year.
never even include this topic
No.
in a list at all
No.
anymore.
spicy food.
Oh,
There's hardly any of it here.
it's true.
And what we mean by that is that 99% of the time when something says that it's spicy, it's not.
It's not.
And you're
people will be
probably
like, "You
thinking,
gotta try
I've had
this thing,
spicy
it's so
food in the
spicy," and we'll
Netherlands,
be like,
and I'm telling you,
It's
you
not
probably.
spicy.
And I'm not talking like knock your socks off, like sweating profusely spicy. I'm not talking like this is like an episode of Hot
We don't
Ones.
like
Yeah,
that.
because we don't like that kind
We
of
don't like that kind of
spicy.
spicy. But in the United States, when you eat something that's like medium spicy, it has some pretty significant spice on it. However, here, when you go to like a Surinamese restaurant and they ask if you want your sandwich spicy, they put sambal on it and you eat it and it's not spicy. Like it's still like below what
vinegary.
I think
It's
medium
sometimes
would
a
be,
little sweet.
or
Yeah.
even mild would be in the United States.
In the United States, someone said like, "Oh, do you like spicy food?" I don't think I would say like not as. I think I would say not especially. Like I
No.
don't go out of my way to like eat spicy food. Like when we went to Nashville and we would get Nashville hot chicken, I wasn't like getting hot.
You were still getting like the medium.
Medium.
However, we have found things
We
here.
have found things here. I will say, number one, a lot of people told us to try the Madame Jeanette sambal.
the yellow
Yeah, the yellow sambal. It's not very spicy. It's
No.
good.
but it's more
It's a
of
little spicy.
like a mild-ish.
I like it. Don't get me wrong. We
It
tried
tastes
it
good.
numerous times. It's really good when you mix it with mashed potatoes.
Oh yeah, we did do that,
Yes.
didn't we?
I think the go-to spicy things that we have begun to enjoy here
Mhm.
regularly are one, the flamages.
Yes.
We love flamages, and
Yes.
y'all recommended those to us. Love flamages.
and they're quite spicy too.
okay. They're a little spicy.
They're good.
They're good, and they're a little spicy.
They scratch the itch.
They scratch the edge. The other thing I really like is heatsupply.nl. They're a hot sauce shop online here in the Netherlands.
Mm.
And in addition to stocking a lot of like popular hot sauces from around the world, they do actually have a very good catalog of Dutch hot sauces, including some that they make. The last two are the ones that have like truly been the things where you're just like, oh my gosh, what is going on?
Yep.
I got deathly ill in December. So we had our Berlin trip, and a few days afterwards, I caught what I think everyone in Europe had, which was just like a really, really, really bad cold, probably. And in the United States, I
remember that. It was a really,
go down
really
to the
bad
pharmacy and you buy a bunch of over-the-counter medication to try and
I was sick for like a
quell
month.
Yep.
the symptoms that are bothering you the most. Here, there isn't really over-the-counter medication. You've got paracetamol, which is Tylenol, and that's basically it. We ended up finding
And ibuprofen.
this like cough syrup, and we ended up finding like a nose spray. And I found out afterwards, I translated the cough syrup, and I found out that basically the main ingredient was honey. So I don't think it was doing a whole lot. Certainly didn't feel like it. Do you remember when we went back to the US like 3 years ago, and at the airport there was like that like over-the-counter medication vending machine?
Yes. We were just like
That was just like one of those
losing it.
moments where it was just like, it was surreal that we just
Yeah.
came back from like this experience
To being
and
able to
then
get it from a vending
at the airport. Anyway, yeah. So a lot of people in the comments of this video interpreted that as me saying I thought that I should be able to get antibiotics from the doctor.
Yes, it was a huge thing.
Misunderstanding.
Yeah, huge misunderstanding. We did not think that Alex should be able to get antibiotics for his cold, but what we were looking for were things that were to help
Remedies.
manage the symptoms
Yes.
of his cold, not cure his cold, because we know that a cold cannot be cured with medicine.
I don't know. Fundamentally, I think the thing that I've just started doing more is drinking like tea with lemon and turmeric in it.
Yep.
And that's helped a lot when I've been sick and having and having coughing fits. Going to the doctor is free.
Yes.
So, well, I mean, it's part of your health insurance that you have here in the Netherlands. So, you know, the bar is much lower than it is comparatively in the United States. But unless you're like sick for a very long period of time, or like
You have an infection.
or something is like not, you don't have a cold,
Right.
it's really unlikely that your doctor here is going to prescribe you anything but paracetamol and rest. You know, I mean, I get it. People, you can take more time off work. Like there are a lot of things built into the system here that allow you to rest and recover more quickly from being sick. I think the only thing that I was remarking about here that I do still miss is the ability to just take something that would provide some sort of relief for
Mhm.
some of the symptoms.
And mostly at night too.
And mostly
to
at
be
night.
honest.
I've never been a big advocate for taking medicine.
No.
I still am not. But, you know, maybe just a little bit more medicine.
Maybe just
Just a little bit more medicine. But not antibiotics.
No,
Unless you need them.
unless you need them.
And now for our biggest culture shock moment. And this is a
What
moment.
am I doing? Typing? Well, it was a long moment.
Drum roll.
Fireworks.
Yep.
Oh, gosh.
Specifically on and around
Emphasis on around.
after
And
Yep.
weeks before.
Yeah, it's January 3rd. We heard them last night.
before
Yep.
New Year's.
Full show last night.
The weeks leading up to the holiday, we had heard about how much Dutch people love fireworks. But wow, it was absolutely on another level. I don't think we were prepared for the amount of noise and how long the fireworks celebrations went on. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I woke up at
Don't
midnight
even get me
probably
started.
there was
Started on
a war
fireworks.
going on outside, I looked outside and it was quite beautiful.
It was. They were everywhere.
Yeah, it was beautiful. But yeah, it was really surprising. And I'd also just like to note that y'all know we lived in Texas before. We moved here.
They love fireworks in America.
They love fireworks. Y'all outdid the Texans on this one for sure.
We live in Dordrecht. In the city center, it's a fireworks free zone, but there's no enforcement.
No, there's no enforcement.
And if you're
for that.
wondering why there's no enforcement, it's because every year there are tons of police and emergency workers that are targeted by people shooting them with fireworks. And
it's dangerous for them.
It's dangerous for them to respond to those things. Yes. And there is probably going to be a ban on, like a complete ban on fireworks in the Netherlands in 2026 this year. I'm not sure how effective it'll be because you can just cross the border into Belgium and Germany, buy these fireworks that have already been made illegal in the Netherlands since 2020. As long as they're going to be that accessible, I just don't know how they're gonna.
Yeah, I'm not sure because again, most of the fireworks that we're hearing and we're seeing,
They aren't the legal ones.
they are,
Like the Netherlands legal ones.
yeah, they're the illegal fireworks that are already illegal.
And I do think the tide is starting to turn in the Netherlands because there was a recent poll where I think 2/3 of Dutch people said they wanted fireworks to be banned.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that is because of what's happening with the emergency workers. I mean, at 12:30 last New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, I guess it was 12:30. Everyone got a notice on their phone that said that 112, the emergency number, was
busy.
overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But even after that ban is in place, I mean, they're still going to have like fireworks shows.
Yeah.
Like actual professionally done fireworks shows. And I mean, hopefully at some point you'll be able to actually discern which one's the professional one.
You'll know which one to
You'll
go to.
know which one to go to. And, you know, I'm not like anti-fireworks.
No, I think that's a great thing for everyone to come together and watch a big fireworks show somewhere where it's safe and there are professionals
that are
setting
doing
them
it.
off.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was fun. Sort of. By the time this video goes live, those 4 videos will have been taken down, and it's only because we don't want people to stumble upon those videos without understanding the fuller context that we've hopefully been able to provide in this video after being here for a longer amount of time.
By the way, if you're an American thinking about making a move to the Netherlands, be sure to check out our moving guide with everything that we've learned before, during, and since our move over at move.buncharted.com.
As always, thanks for watching, and you'll probably like watching this video next. We'll see y'all next week.
Todan!